This is a fridge that has been used by 3 Christians and 1 atheist. It contains the kind of food that Christians eat. Cabbage, Brussels sprouts, onions, potatoes. It also contains the kind of food that Christians shouldn't eat. Eggs, milk, cheese. You might wonder what's in this top freezer bit, because being a Christian fridge, you might expect it to contain frozen meat, but it doesn't. It contains Christian food, such as veggie sausages. There we are. There's Christian veggie sausage. Right, let's proof text like mad because we're Christians, and that's what Christians do. Right, there are a number of texts in the Bible which say you should eat meat. The Adamic covenant in the Genesis mythos, which I think is in the E document, maybe the J document, I'm not sure, states that you can eat vegetables, you can eat anything that grows out of the earth. The Noachic covenant, which I seem to recall is in the J document, but I'm not sure, then states that you should eat animals and that they will flee from you and you can catch them and eat them. And then later on, Paul did his big marketing move where he decided that, or rather God decided through him perhaps, that it was okay not to be kosher, and then he was able to sell Christianity to the Roman Empire, and the rest is history. So that's the general argument that people have for eating meat. Now, I'm not going to judge other people because as a Christian I can't do that, but I can tell you about my decisions. I'm a lacto-vegetarian. I should be vegan, but I'm not. I'm not going to go into that here. If the Bible tells you it's wrong to lie, then it's wrong to lie, basically. And it doesn't matter whether that lie is told face to face or through Twitter or YouTube. If the Bible tells you not to nick something, that applies to your neighbour's sheep, but it equally well applies to an iPad. Technology and change doesn't change the basic morality of things. But circumstances do change, and as a result, different decisions have to be made. I am going to assume, for the sake of this argument, we don't have direct duties towards members of other species. I don't actually think that's true, but I think that's the consensus Christian opinion about them, or that human beings trump those species. If that's the case, and again I'm going to talk about agribusiness versus organic local veganism here, rather than anything in the middle, and I recognise there is a grey area there. That means that it is not right for a Christian to support a system which involves transporting food all over the world and feeding it to livestock rather than human beings, where there are human beings who are starving and practicing agricultural techniques which denude the soil of nutrition for plants and are unsustainable. As a result, it's wrong, even if you are completely biblically literalist, to eat meat from factory farms, agribusiness and so forth. Now there is a middle ground, and there's also the question of the plank in my eye and the speck in yours, and that I mustn't judge you on that basis. And as a result, I can only really talk about my own life. But in my own life, I don't think I could square eating meat which I would get from a supermarket or somewhere with being Christian, because that meat I would know was raised using food which could have been fed to other people. It's also polluting my body in a sense, and my body being a temple, being made in the image of God, that's something I shouldn't do. And also in our position as Christians, being stewards of and having dominion over creation, which means serving it, because that's how Christ has dominion over us, because he serves us. We're not serving the creation if we're engaging in that kind of agriculture and so forth. Now, that doesn't mean I think that everyone should be vegan, and I recognise that there are all sorts of intermediate positions, such as hunting wild animals, fishing sustainably, eating roadkill, and other situations. But one thing is certain, as far as I'm concerned, and that is that I believe that it is a sin for me to eat food which has been raised on factory farms as animals and then killed, compared to being vegetarian or vegan. But in fact, dairy products and eggs are probably a more serious problem than meat, to be honest. So in fact, I am a hypocrite in fine Christian tradition. Tell me what you think. Is it incumbent upon Christians to be vegetarian?